there, friends.
Well,
How's it
hello.
going?
Here we
Fancy
are.
meeting you here in this library of all places.
Welcome to Frankenstein Tea. This is a podcast produced and distributed from the Aldrich Public Library in Barre, Vermont. Today we are in the children's room of the Aldrich Public Library, the Catherine Patterson Children's Room. We have some special guests with us. I'm Kristin. I'm the director of the Aldrich.
I'm Ian Gothier. I'm the children's librarian here at the Aldrich. This is Raine.
Raine, I'm the children's assistant at the Aldrich.
And we have a special guest today. This is Stephanie Rubin from Head Start and Capstone, right?
That's correct.
Yes. Fantastic.
Excellent. And we're here today. We're going to spend a little time with Stephanie. She spearheaded and brought to completion. And we, the three of us, attended the opening and the dedication, and we painted. You forgot to paint.
I did.
Painted.
I got in there.
Yeah, a mural at the Brook Street School, the Brook Street School mural. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're excited about it.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. As always, this is a podcast available at your convenience. You can watch it at any time. It'll be on our YouTube channel. I think it's being shared to our Facebook channel.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's a little tricky for us these days. Full confession, we've been in a technology migration transition period. So just bear with us. We're getting better at all of that. But
And since we're entering spooky season, I'm going to ask you, why is it called Frankenstein tea?
Frankenstein tea. So while we're having tea, we'll talk a little bit. I'll talk a little bit. My tea was a new one today. I think it's like lemon, honey, ginger, or something.
That sounds really good.
Oh, it smells so good. It smells really lemony, honey, and like honey. So Frankenstein tea started during COVID as I was a real proponent of look for that silver lining of COVID. What's the creative moment? What are we doing differently? Really just trying to plow my way through that horrible, horrific time that we had. One of the things that I did to stay connected to patrons was create a podcast. And so this is the next iteration of that. And I called it Frankenstein Tea because it was a monster of a time. It was a monster of a disease. And Frankenstein is a permissible read. So in copyright, we can't always read things publicly in their entirety. There's very strict copyright regulations.
But Frankenstein tea's in the public domain.
It's in the public domain, Frankenstein. And so that was what came out of it, was this, monster of a time. It was in public domain. And the tea was, I always traditionally did it at this time. I thought people should take a little time out as, because COVID, you remember, those were long, hard days.
Yep.
And so by 3:00, it was like, okay, wait, let's take a breather. Let's sit together. I would read to people and we would have some tea. And so that's really the history. What do you call that about words?
Genesis?
Or etymology?
Etymology,
Etymology,
yes. Etymology
of that title. Where it came from, and while COVID is out there persisting, it's not quite as monster-like.
Yeah.
But we like the name, so we use it.
And you know what? So many of those things that started during COVID, we just hang on to.
We hang on to. They were good
We discovered
things.
that they were really good things.
They were really. It was really the challenge was to stay flexible during that and be adaptable, and good things happened out of that.
Stay connected with the community, and then we'll probably talk a little bit later about the mental health component.
Yes, right. We do a little mental health component on Frankenstein tea, but this idea of staying connected, and I like it at this library because winter hits.
Yeah, and winter's
Not
long.
everybody can get in, right? Not everybody can get to the library every week. COVID is still lingering, right? Those things are happening, and so we carry it on.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And part of the goal is also to make connections in the community, and also kind of let you know what's going on, not just at the library, but in the community. And so, kind of in that spirit, that's where this came from. And now we were also a collaborator with Head Start and Capstone. So that's another, that's a library connection with this program, this project. But so that was why we decided to
so here's
ask
Stephanie.
yes, to come in. Yeah,
fits right in with all of that.
So if you have passed down by Brook Street, down by the old Brook Street School, You have probably seen this beautiful mural down by Brook Street and Laurel Street, just off of Summer Street. And yeah, it's a really beautiful mural. And that is the original old Brook Street School, back when, you know, Berry City had 4 or 5 different little mini schools. So, and it's still a school.
It has some, it's nice history there.
Is it
Well-
the only one that's still a school? I think it is, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The
I'm not
little
sure. That
mini
could
schools.
certainly be.
Yeah.
It was a school and it is a school.
And it is a school.
Yeah.
It still
Yeah.
still is a school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it your
Kind
school,
of
Raine? Was it your school?
It was actually, yes.
Yeah.
I did go to Brook Street when I was in preschool, and more fun was that my aunt Tammy is also a teacher at Brook Street. So I got to have my aunt as my teacher when I was at Brook Street. So like Brook Street's extra special for that reason.
Oh, that's great.
And you were a big part of this project.
Yes.
So that makes it really fun.
Yeah,
Well,
it's great to go back for it.
this is a good segue. Can you, Stephanie, begin by telling us a little bit about the Brook Street School and about Head Start and Capstone, and a little bit about the Brook Street neighborhood?
Sure, absolutely. So, Capstone Community Action is a very large organization in this area. It runs in 3 counties, Washington, Lamoille, and Orange. And we have lots of different anti-poverty programs, things from food shelves, job training, financial literacy. We help with home heating and fuel. There's a housing department, just lots of different programs to help Vermonters, especially who are struggling or just have goals in terms of getting ahead. And Head Start is one of the called the flagship program with Capstone. It's a very large program, and it serves families with children birth through age 5. We have lots of different program options. We have early learning centers, and Brook Street School is one of those. We have home visiting programs, and we partner with area public preschools and child care centers. And I've worked for Head Start for 20 years. I clearly love it.
Wow. That's great.
So, and the Brook Street School also has a high school for Head Start parents, and that's where I work. So I direct that school, and it's moms of all ages who either are coming straight from high school or they've dropped out of school and they want to return and they want to model the importance of education for their young children.
That's fantastic. And so actually, more services than like early children's literacy, like services all across the board for all ages, really.
Oh yes, and there's a big focus on health and nutrition and
Mhm.
lots of family supports there, and it's a wonderful wraparound program for families.
And that school is right there in the middle of the neighborhood too, so
Yes.
it's within walking distance.
Yes.
And people pass by it all the time.
Yes. There's I would say there's traffic that goes through. A lot of people use that as an alternate route to Main Street. A lot of people that are out walking. And the Good Samaritan Haven has a shelter on North Seminary, which is really nice. That's part of the neighborhood. A few business, but mostly it's residential.
Residential, yeah.
So it's very centrally located for everyone, in the community.
So is it not a public school?
The school is for specifically Head Start.
I didn't
Yes.
realize that. Okay. And how did you get that school?
Oh, that was before my time.
Okay.
I'm
After
not
Raine's
sure.
time and before your
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. That's great to have that kind of established place. Yeah, because then, because then all your other capstone services also have a little bit of a resource, right? That's a resource for those families who need the other services.
Yes,
Yes.
At
absolutely.
least brochures,
Yep.
And that's
right?
part
And
of what we do
connection.
is
Yeah,
connect.
at
those.
least the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fascinating. I hadn't realized that because I knew Raine went there, so I thought it was didn't realize.
Yes. All
Awesome.
Head Start.
So let's talk a little bit about the mural project.
Yes.
So this was a grant-funded project, right?
Yes.
And did it start this past winter, or did it start way
Oh,
back?
yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
So it's been almost a year and a half in the making.
Okay.
So, if you've gone by the Brook Street School, you'll see we sit at the corner of Brook Street and North Seminary Street. And on North Seminary Street, there's a retaining wall that faces the street, and it's just 4 feet tall, but it's 60 feet long, and it's concrete, and it's always been kind of, ugly. And there's some graffiti there, and our director approached me, and she was like, wow, wouldn't it be great if there was a mural there?
Yeah.
I said, wow, I bet there's a grant for that. So that's how it started, and I was familiar with the Arts Council. I'd done some work with them before, and so we looked, and indeed there was an arts infrastructure grant for community public art.
Fit you to a T.
Yeah.
So that was already out there, and you found that.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was. I didn't know that, and I came to a few events this past week, and I thought, wow, they crafted that for her, huh? I better meet her. She's got some pull. I mean, because it fit that. I mean, I doubt. Well, maybe there are other places in Vermont that are fulfilling that grant, but you really that was right where you were working from.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
We are so lucky, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to the Arts Council, because we received not just one. The first grant was for the design, hiring an artist and then working with the artist on the design.
Yep.
And then it was a whole separate grant to actually implement and do the painting of the mural.
The supplies for that and his time for that.
Yes.
So you got two.
So we got two. Yes. Weren't sure what we were going to do if we just got the first
Oh,
one.
no, yeah.
Didn't get the second one.
Have to raise the money.
Right.
maybe.
Yes, we would have had to. So it was wonderful.
Lots of big sales.
So what was your vision for the mural, and what were your goals in going into the project?
Yes, so our director, again, we started talking about it. She's like, wouldn't it be wonderful if the theme was early children's literature? And we're all like, yes, that would be amazing. And that was partly why we wanted to partner with the library on the project. And then we also wanted it to really involve the community. We didn't want to just hire an artist to have them, come and paint the wall, but to have folks have ownership beyond that in the planning and be part of the actual painting of the mural. So we kind of started with that and put into place a number of activities to get us there.
Yeah, that's really it's a testament to your work, to your long-term work, right? Because you knew that you knew community involvement would make it
Special.
richer,
Yes.
Yeah,
right? Richer and would make it work, and that's such a testament to your work. That's great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then early literacy, right? Here comes the Aldrich.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, they're going to do an early literacy mural? Let's get in on that.
Well, so I have this wonderful quote. I hope you don't mind my quoting. This is from your proposal. We would like to use the mural to visually display how children's books nourish our imaginations and expand our worlds. Early literacy is a cornerstone of our Head Start services, and a mural would be a helpful medium for engaging the community further with our mission. That was just so beautifully put.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, of course, the children would connect with it, and parents of young children,
Yeah.
but really anyone who looks at it connects with it. And I think it brings, some folks back to when they were read to as a child, and just those wonderful memories, or that there's someone who reads, to their child or to other children, and just all of the beautiful things that, the imagination, just think, all kinds of wonderful things that reading unlocks and sparks.
And you can see that actually. I know we'll be talking about the design a little bit later, but you can see that in the design. So if you haven't seen it, so there is presumably an older child, right, who is reading to younger children.
It's
Now it's art, people.
so you can see whatever you want to see.
You can see whatever you want.
So it could be a young mother, it could be a teacher, so it is kind of a
Sibling.
younger woman, it could be a sibling, absolutely.
Auntie,
It's kind of maybe a little
That was what I was
ageless.
thinking. Yeah.
And so she's opening the book, and she has two young children on each side of her who are just, you can
Rapt.
tell their
Enraptured.
minds are really going, enraptured by whatever it is she's reading. And then you can see there are these really beautiful kind of ribbons of bright colors that start moving out from the children, and bubbles, and some of the fun things that early children's literature, that children love with them. So like there's rocket ships and planets, and there's, they're in these little bubbles, they're dragons and knights.
Pirate ship.
Yes, so
it's just classics.
yeah.
Now, I was wondering where those came from. Did the kids actually give those ideas, or?
I think Raine might have.
Oh, excellent, Raine. Good choice.
So yeah, right. Tell us why you're in on this today. You were part of the
design committee.
The
so
design
after
committee.
they had picked the artist and they had hired Jeremy, I came in to help them with the design on the early literature aspect of things. Because I'm librarian,
'Cause you know.
children's librarian.
Yes.
Yeah, because I knew. So yeah, we pretty much just that was kind of my role, was talking about not only things that you find in children's literature, but there's just the way like early books kind of appeal and
Children.
connect.
connect to
Connect to
children,
children,
and how they can build these wonderful connections, and children can just, they get so excited and they just get so wrapped in these worlds, and it really builds some beautiful connections. And yeah, so I suggested a lot of the things that ended up in those bubbles.
There's a dinosaur, I think, too.
There's a dinosaur,
Yeah, of course.
so because well, there's certain subjects that I don't think I've gone a single day working here that I haven't been asked for. So yeah, so
Dinosaur
dinosaurs,
bug.
and
Yeah.
bugs, and
Bugs,
there's some sports in there,
Mhm,
and a train.
There is that train.
Yes,
There is a train.
yes.
Yeah.
And knights
And-
and the castles and
The castles, I love the castles. But
Yeah.
and I would say for me when I go by, it's the UFO.
Oh, the
Right?
UFO.
And
Yes.
because when I go by, I'm like, right, I maybe should read sci-fi.
yeah.
I'm like, right, sci-fi. Yeah, that's what the UFO says to me. Kristin, read some sci-fi.
Read some
Yes.
sci-fi. Try something different.
Yeah.
So, beyond creating an enduring piece of art, one of the goals of the project was to serve as a catalyst for social connection in the community for people of different socioeconomic situations, backgrounds, and cultural experiences. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So it started with establishing the Mural Review Committee, and we didn't want just capstone staff hiring and working with the artist. So we brought together Head Start parents, a Head Start grandparent, there were a few people from the neighborhood, and of course Raine from the library. And so it was, we joked, like it was just so great that there was a high school student from our school and a grandma on the committee, and that was really just beautiful, and we came together. It was just really fun working
Intergenerational.
together. Yeah, absolutely. So there was that, and then we hired Jeremy Jarvis, who is our artist, and if you hire anybody through Capstone, you have to do 3 reference checks. And so as I checked his references, the first guy I called, oh my goodness, he just talked about not just Jeremy as an artist, because what he creates is just stunning, but that he's so community minded, and he loves involving the community in his murals, and that's really like his jam, and it was just the stories he was telling me about these community paint days. I almost had tears rolling down my face. It was just, we hadn't envisioned a paint day, and it was just those phone calls with his references. I was kind of like, wow, it would just be a missed opportunity if we didn't do this. And so that became not just the mural connecting people with this beautiful, piece of art, but also having different people come and actually paint. And so in our community paint day, we had 83 people
Wow.
throughout the day, painting in half-hour shifts, and just, really diverse group. Different folks, like infants with their parents, taking the little brush, folks who were, seniors, people, even kids who were just walking around in the neighborhood were like, oh, can I paint? And, we pulled them in. And shelter guests with a Good Samaritan Haven came over with staff, and they had a half-hour shift, and that was really nice.
That is awesome.
Really gives people some ownership over that project. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can point and say, that was my mark, that was my paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a really nice thing I'll say is, so Jeremy comes from Columbus, Ohio, and he's been a professional mural artist for over 20 years. And as he was painting, here, folks were responding so positively to this wall being painted, and him and his assistant, and people, just throughout the 2 weeks are like honking and, yelling these wonderful, like, encouraging messages. He had people, we just come over and talk to him. Somebody brought him over maple syrup.
Oh my God, that's great.
Somebody went to the store and got him some coffee, but he said he's never had a community just respond in that way before. And I just thought that was so beautiful that that's our neighborhood.
Yeah, that is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good pick. Well done.
We were very,
Yeah,
we
he
were
was
so
really,
lucky.
he was really fantastic.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
really fantastic.
We didn't have any idea it was going like out of state.
Yeah.
So,
Right, you
I
got it.
think, did you say you had like 21
we
applicants?
did. And the Arts Council must have posted it somewhere because the first application we received was from South Carolina. I was
Wow.
like, whoa, wait a minute. So they came from all over, and we were just unanimous in picking him. He just stood out.
he stood out.
He was
Yeah.
perfect.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and now sitting here and listening to you and having been there, he was perfect.
He was.
He
Yeah.
really was. And what texture he brought to that, right? With the community paint day
Mhm.
and with his sort of foundation of community. And I'm glad that Barry shined.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm glad Barry shined for him, and he spoke about that.
Yes.
He definitely did. That's not just info he gave you. He's been really sort of floored by that, I think. Yeah, it's great.
And the nice thing too is we did really want Vermont artists to be involved, and
Yeah.
so that was important to us. And so we decided that we would offer a mentorship opportunity to a Barry artist who actually applied for the project. And so Jessica Robles was chosen, and she has a graphic design and a lettering business here in Barry. She wanted to learn more about larger scale community murals, and so she assisted Jeremy through the project, and that was
I did
really
not
nice.
know where she came from.
She's wonderful.
That is
That's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, what an awesome component.
Worked out great.
Yeah. Huh.
So you formed a committee to plan the design of the mural and to choose the artist. Can you talk about the process of selecting? Well, we already talked a little bit about selecting the artist, but maybe about the design process.
Yes, so if you could speak to this, Raine. The first session, I mean, they were all Zoom sessions because he was in Ohio. He had like about 10 prepared questions for us so he could get a sense of what we were looking for, and they were just, what does reading mean to us? What was an important, book for us? What are Barry's strengths? Tell me, the values you hold. And so, I mean, there were 8 of us, so we all had to, there was a lot of popcorning and building on things, and so we were all like, how is he going to, pull something together from that
It
conversation?
was very much, I feel like we definitely got through the end of that going, did we give them anything? You can actually use?
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah. So he came back with a draft, and it was really it's funny, you have a vision in your head. I don't know where it comes from, but
Yeah.
it was completely different. It was just so much energy and color and really wonderful. And then we kind of tweaked some things, and we made some suggestions, like the bubbles you'll see everywhere, but they didn't have the fun characters in them. Or
They were just bubbles.
They were just bubbles.
So then that was a suggestion of putting things in the bubbles that came up.
They're almost like those little sort of like in comics, like a little dream bubble.
Yeah.
So I love that. Those are really nice
Great,
touch.
because it's like things that when you read, you kind of imagine it, you kind of get into it, and it's kind of like.
Right, it's that blank space is what he was going for, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, like, it's whatever you want it to be.
Right.
And you, brave people, told the artist what he should do. Wow, there
It
was
was
some...
very nice, really
Hi.
open collaboration,
Yeah,
and
that's
wanted,
great.
like, to really do it to capture the vision for the project
Yeah.
that we were kind of having. So he was very, very nice and amendable.
How
to
many
those
times did that go back and forth?
suggestions.
We had 3 sessions with him.
Mhm.
So the first, we talked about our vision. He came back with the draft. We gave him feedback, and then the third, he really kind of hit it.
Yeah,
So
I think there was, like, after the first kind of initial draft where the bubbles didn't have anything, then we kind of told there was that, and then there was a couple other tweaks I think we had to make. But yeah, after the third time, we really kind of
Nailed
nailed
it.
it. It was perfect.
Yeah.
I think so.
I remember walking out of that meeting going, I can't show anybody this.
I know.
I really wanted to, like,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Was it top
People should
secret?
see it.
Yes!
Yeah.
We joked that we were going to sign NDAs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the executive director of Capstone didn't know, the director of Head Start didn't know. We purposely did not tell anyone, and we just let it unfold.
Right.
People could see
Yeah.
it as it came alive.
It was really wonderful for me since I lived like right across the street. So every time I'd walk out of my house or every time I'd come back home and I'd
Yeah.
walk down that street, I'd see it slowly start to come together.
Yeah.
And it was a really like kind of magical experience to watch it go from a blank wall to this really beautiful mural.
Yeah.
It was very clever the way he did it too. So we had the outlines, and then everything was numbered. It was like a paint by number.
Mhm.
Yes.
That was fantastic. What a great!
Yes.
And then the paint buckets were numbered as well. So what a great system.
Yes, you can tell he's done this
Oh, yeah,
before.
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
machine,
he's
but
the mural. He's the
professional.
muralist. Yeah.
Yes, but that's what it was. It was a huge paint by number
Yeah.
project, and so it was wonderful. You don't have to have any artistic ability to do that. So nobody needed to feel nervous or they had to deliver or draw anything. It was just this joyful, I'm going to do this,
I'm
you
on
know,
blue.
yellow,
I'm on
this
blue, yeah.
yellow bubble,
Yeah.
and then it also freed you up just to chat while you
Yeah.
were,
No
you know,
kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
there were so many really nice connections being made with groups of people there, and folks getting to know each other that didn't before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a nice
fantastic.
way to bring people together that might not have necessarily otherwise been brought together.
Did you know that was a goal in the beginning? Or as they say, was that an unintended concept?
That was a really wonderful unintended.
Yeah, that
is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, so what's next with the project? I originally, I think in the proposal you were talking about maybe having a little sort of little lending library or an experiential kind of component, like a little cabinet or something where people could borrow books.
We have some ideas, and it'll be interesting to see what we end up with. But one of the really nice things, I think, is the collaboration with the library.
Yes.
And it coming,
Yeah.
and I think pre-COVID there were some things going on with a Head Start in the library, and it's just, that's kind of things that, with COVID, some things didn't necessarily pick back up the way they were. So I think, we talked about you and Raine coming and doing
Yeah.
some story times, some children's activities,
Yeah.
finding ways for our parents to get library cards. And we're thinking more about book giveaways. So this is kind of the next phase.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
right.
that.
And that's wonderful. That you connect us with the community. You connect us with those people, and you connect those people with the resources that we have here at the library. So that's really wonderful. It's a great collaboration. Thank
Yes,
you.
it is.
Yeah, I say yes to all of that.
I'm
a boss. I say yes to story hour, yes to library cards, and sure, we'll come by. And we'd love to stock your, if you do a little bit of a little free library or an exchange, or I love to give away books.
Yeah.
People often say to me, but then people don't come into the library. I say, yes, of course they do.
Sure they do.
Yeah, of course they do. They should have home libraries and come to the library. Like, of course they do.
One thing that's just so important for early literacy is just having access to books in the home.
In the
you know,
home,
that are
yeah.
that are age appropriate
Yeah.
and just quality literature.
You must know all those
Yeah.
statistics. The number, the vocabulary increase for kids that are read to.
Yes.
Yeah, as to kids that are not read to, is like, those numbers are crazy. That is really very crucial
Yeah.
to be read to and to share literacy at home. And so, we love to give away books. So that we are not
Great.
librarians who
Yes.
don't want to give away books.
Yeah, we'll
so.
take advantage of
So
it.
we're happy to help. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that is maybe a good segue into...
You want to read a little? Can we
doing a
read
little
to
bit
you?
of reading?
Yes,
Are you
we
guys
read
all right
to
with
you.
that? All right, cool. So last time, 2 weeks ago, we started reading The End of the Beginning by A.V., being the adventures of a small snail and an even smaller ant. And this is one of my favorites. It reminds me a lot of Winnie the Pooh. It has the same sort of wittiness and the
Yeah.
same sort of sense of humor. So I'm trying to remember. I think you were
I don't
playing.
remember who I was.
I think you were playing Avon, the snail, and I was Edward, the ant. So
Okay.
shall we?
Shall we?
All right.
Surely.
And here, I'll show you guys the cover. Highly recommended.
We have it here at the library to check out.
Yes, indeed. And there's a sequel too. So this one's called Chapter 3, in which music is introduced. Avon and Edward had gone about 3 inches. Snail and ant, you know. When Edward said, "Avon, what do you know about music?"
Oh, nothing more than a few tunes, most of which I've forgotten.
Edward was concerned. "In looking for adventures," he explained, "one does a lot of marching. It's unheard of to have adventures without marching music."
I'm glad you warned me, Edward. Perhaps you could teach me some.
"Delighted," said Edward. "This is a very ancient marching song that has been sung in my family for thousands of years. It goes like this. March, march, golly, golly, golly. March, march, golly, golly, golly. March, march, oh, golly, golly, oh. Oh, 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 golly, golly, oh. Oh, golly, golly, oh. March, march, march,"
What an inspiring song!
said Avon. "One of the better things about it," Edward pointed out, "is the fact that it can be sung from either end. I sing it from the beginning, and my father sings it from the end."
Can it be sung from the middle?
"Absolutely," said Edward. "That's how my mother always does it. As you can see, we are a family of individuals,"
Ah, but at least you're all singing the same song.
said Avon.
March, march, march,
Do you
golly,
like golly golly? Should we do?
All I could think about at that moment was, good thing he picked Edward.
Yeah, that's right.
Woo, I wasn't ready for singing.
I looked ahead. So, shall we do one more?
Sure.
They're short chapters,
Yeah.
so at least we're all singing the same song, huh?
Yeah.
All right, chapter 4, in which Edward becomes exhausted. Not long after Avon and Edward had set off on their adventures, Edward suddenly stopped. "I can't go on this way," he announced. Avon became alarmed.
What's the matter?
"My knees hurt," replied Edward, sitting down and panting. "I had no idea it would be so exhausting to go so slowly," he explained. Avon began to feel guilty.
Is it wrong to go slow?
"It's not wrong," said Edward. "It's just that you take such a long time." Avon was embarrassed.
I know.
He said softly.
It's much better for creatures to give than to take.
"It's very kind of you to offer to give me some of your time," said Edward. "But frankly, Avon, I don't think you have any to spare. You seem to need a great deal of it." Avon was very upset.
What are we going to do then?
All of a sudden, Edward leapt up and ran. He ran so fast and far that Avon lost sight of him for 3 days and 3 nights. At last, however, Edward returned, lay down, and closed his eyes.
Are you feeling better?
Avon asked as carefully as possible. "Not at all," answered Edward, breathing hard.
Why? What happened?
"I ran about in every possible direction."
Wasn't it interesting?
"Actually," said Edward, "no matter how fast I went or where I went, all I saw were branches and leaves. The truth is, it wasn't very different there than here,"
Edward, you needn't worry about that.
said Avon sympathetically.
As far as I can see, I don't get anywhere either.
"True," said Edward. "I rushed off and you stayed put, but nevertheless, we're both here."
What's more,
said Avon.
it took the same amount of time for both of us to get there.
That's great.
That's a good. I think that might be full circle. To where we weren't on camera when we started, but I think we might have just come full circle.
We might very well.
Oh, Stephanie, thanks for coming to
Thank you for
Frankenstein
coming.
Tea.
I hope you enjoy.
I did enjoy
We
it.
enjoyed
Yeah,
your company.
you did a fantastic project. We look forward to more collaboration. It's so nice to meet you and work with you.
Likewise.
Yeah, it was really great.
Do we have some announcements?
Yeah, we have a couple of announcements. I'm going to do one because next week is October. Senior Day at the Aldrich is always the first Wednesday in October, so it's Wednesday, October 2nd this month, 1:30 in the Milne Room, which is the downstairs community room. And we're having Dan Norris is the Director of Adult Services at the Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And he is going to talk about vision loss and living independently and employment and some of his favorite hobbies, adaptive skills, and tools that people can use in their own lives.
Perfect.
So we're looking forward to Dan coming. Again, Senior Day is the first Wednesday of every month. Next month.
Next month.
For October, it'll be next Wednesday at 1:30 in the Mill Room.
Fantastic. So hope to see you there. For the children's room, we have story time out in Courier Park for, I think, maybe just one more Monday, and then we'll be closed for Indigenous Peoples Day, and then after that we're gonna head inside because it's starting to get kind of chilly out there. So that's on Monday. Story time is on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Currently out in Courier Park, but check our Facebook page for the location. If it's a rainy day or if it's wet, we'll be inside in the Milne Community Room. And then on Tuesday, we have yoga for kiddos, and that's at 10:30. Yeah. So if you come to the back door, the parking lot door, and just ring the doorbell, someone will let you in, and you can come on down for our yoga story time with the kiddos. And let's see, Wednesday, we have our Lego Club. And that's in the evening, 4 to 5:30. We have Playgroup, and that's back with a family center, and that's 10 to 11. Once again, that is also before the library opens. So if you ring the doorbell in the back parking lot entrance, they'll let you in, and you can come on down to Playgroup. And last of all, we have Chess Club. We've just had our second Chess Club, and we've got a good number of kiddos there for
Excellent.
that. So that is recommended ages 7 to 14. And we provide the pieces and the boards. We provide snacks. We provide instruction. You don't really have to have any experience at all with chess. We will teach you. So hopefully you will come on down and play a game of chess with us. Thanks so much.
So I just wrote myself a little note. You just got a big hint. You could invite me to come do yoga at your school.
There we go. Yeah.
You just got a big hint in this
Awesome.
Frankenstein tea. I do a kid yoga program that I got certified in many years ago. I've been doing it I did it when my kid is 21 in a few weeks, and I probably got certified when he was 5 or 6. I wanted to start doing it at his preschool. Then I became the library director where I worked, and so I started doing it there. So it's definitely become my own program, but I am certified, and it's a really great program, and I'd love to come to your school.
That would be great.
So let's figure that out. And part of why I do yoga, I like to see the kids, I like to learn their names, I like to see the parents. It's a whole thing for me, which maybe we could talk about some Frankenstein tea.
Yes.
But there's definitely a mental health component to yoga.
Yes.
And we like to close Frankenstein tea with a little bit of either this ground you, or this remind you, or this maybe get you thinking. But we like to say that we work from a place of where there's no stigma and no shame around mental health issues or crises, or whatever is developing in your life. There is no stigma and no shame there, and we just encourage you always to get the help that you need. And we don't, in the next few suggestions we offer, we know that that's, it's not going to cure you or solve you, or but we offer them to you freely, and as a reminder of maybe a way that you can help yourself on a road to a better mental health situation. So they are, if you would like to listen and take them in. Have you had a good meal? Have you brushed your teeth and taken a shower? Have you reached out to someone you love, a family member or a friend? Are you thinking kind thoughts about yourself and others? Have you had enough fresh air? Have you walked outside and looked at the beautiful mural at Brook Street?
Have you gotten out in nature and enjoyed some greenery, some living things?
Yeah.
Have you read a good book?
Have you gotten enough sleep?
Yeah.
Have you gotten enough sleep?
No.
Please take your meds. Please take your meds. Reach out to your doctor if you need to. Get a doctor if you need to. And reach out for help if you need help with any of those things. So those are what they are for you, right? That's either a reminder or a check-in or a like, oh my gosh, you know what? Maybe I'm not doing so well. I haven't done some of those things. So it's not to induce panic or fear. It's just to say, all of us check in with ourselves, or all of us should check in with ourselves, and we encourage you to do that. And here at the Aldrich, we come from a place of no stigma, no shame. So if you need help with any of that, please come in. Not that we're doctors, but we can definitely offer some resources.
Absolutely.
Now I'm having this image of Lucy, right? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Kissing.
Lucy and
with the 5 cent
yeah,
psychiatry?
the doctor is in with a little
Yes.
hand.
Absolutely.
Not doctors,
No.
but it is
No,
about
but
community and
it
community
is.
wellness and taking care of each other and taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
sometimes you need help taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
And we
absolutely.
can at the very least get you in touch with the resources you need.
That's true.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep. Without any, again, no stigma, no shame here.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you just stay tuned for just a minute or two, we'll give you a little image of the mural. So stay tuned. But for right now, I guess until our next tea time, our next Frankenstein
Our next tea time, which won't be next week because I'm away,
Correct. Yeah.
but it will be the following. The following you might be away.
We will figure something
We're
out.
gonna figure
maybe
something out.
maybe we'll record a Frankenstein
Oh, there you
ahead
go.
of time.
There
yeah.
we go. We could record
There
some
we
stuff.
go.
Oh, wouldn't we be clever?
Yes.
We'll make it work somehow. So it's
Thanks
until
for-
what's that?
Thanks for coming
Thanks for coming, and until our next Frankenstein tea, stay safe.
and keep reading.
Thank you.